"You're not even a real aunt," my sister said loud enough for everyone. At the baby shower I covered with $730 in gifts and $2,250 for the catering. My dad chuckled. "You should have known you're not welcome." I didn't say a word. I blocked every dollar, then played the video. "You're not even a real aunt," Emma said. Her voice sharp and loud enough to slice through the baby shower music and land straight into my chest like a knife. I blinked. Just once. Not because I was confused, but because I knew she wanted me to react. She said it right as the last tray of crab-stuffed mushrooms I paid for hit the buffet table. The room was full, pastel balloons, rented silver chairs, and a cake that looked more like a sculpture than dessert. I covered the entire catering bill. $2,250. Plus another $730 on gifts from her registry. Diaper Genie, the stroller with wheels smoother than my career path, and the absurdly expensive crib she only dreamed of. All paid for. All from me. And in return I got that sentence. Delivered like it was a joke, like I wasn't standing 5 feet from her when she said it. Loud enough for the cousins to smirk and the aunts to look away politely. I didn't respond. Not with words. Not then. I was still holding the gift bag when my dad, who had been mostly silent up to that point, chuckled behind his drink. "You should have known you're not welcome," he said like it was the weather. I looked over. He was sipping from the glass I'd paid for. Sitting in the banquet hall I'd booked under my name. Wearing the new shoes I bought him last Christmas because his old pair were too tight. "You should have known," he repeated. That was the moment I stopped pretending. I placed the gift bag on the nearest table, turned my phone screen toward myself, and tapped the button I'd labeled block all. It wasn't just a contact block. It was a bank freeze, a utilities shutdown, 3 pre-scheduled transfers canceled, and one very particular email sent, the kind with video attachments and "to whom it may concern" in the header. I didn't speak. I didn't cry. I didn't even blink again. I just left. But the story doesn't end there. That moment, that sentence, that smug little laugh was just the trigger. What they didn't know was I'd been planning my exit for months. And I hadn't just saved receipts. I'd filmed them. I didn't leave the baby shower in a rage. I left in a vacuum. Cold. Absolute. Like someone turned off the oxygen in the room, and I was the only one who noticed. By the time I got back to my car, my phone had already lit up with texts from my mother. "You misunderstood Emma. She's hormonal. Don't ruin the day over a silly joke. Let's talk when you've calmed down." What nobody realized was I wasn't angry. I was exhausted. Exhausted from a lifetime of being their walking ATM, their on-call therapist, their fallback plan. Because this wasn't the first time. Not even close. I covered Emma's rent for 9 months last year while she worked on her blog. I paid off Dad's medical debt when he said insurance messed up the paperwork. I even flew home last Christmas after Mom guilted me with "the holidays aren't the same without you," only to find myself cooking a full dinner for 12 while they watched TV and Emma filmed TikTok saying, "I made this all by myself." Nobody corrected her. Nobody ever did. And when I tried to pull back just a little, they made me the villain. Every time. 3 weeks before the baby shower I tried something simple. I said no. Emma called asking if I could cover a few extra things before her baby arrived. That few was a crib, a car seat, maternity clothes, and a cleaning service she found on Instagram. I told her I was stretched thin. She didn't reply for 2 days. Then she posted on Facebook, "Real family shows up. Period." With a photo of a gift from someone else. Tagging everyone in the family. Except me. Comment section lit up like a Christmas tree. "That's how you do it, Emma. You deserve everything." Some people don't know how to love properly. They all knew who she meant. That was the thing. They always knew. My mother liked to pretend she was the peacekeeper, but she never stopped her. Never once. She'd just call me later, low voice, like we were co-conspirators in some tragedy we never named. She doesn't mean it. You know how she is. It's just stress. But stress doesn't justify manipulation. Especially not what I found 2 nights before the shower. I wasn't snooping. I was organizing digital receipts for tax season, trying to track expenses I'd covered for them. But when I pulled up my shared cloud account, the one Emma still had access to from years ago, I found a folder labeled "Baby Shower Stuff." Inside were screenshots. Dozens. Some were group chats. Others were PDFs. One was a spreadsheet labeled "Backups if my name flakes." I opened it. It listed every single item on her registry, with names next to each one. Planemy. Plan B, other guests. Plan C, buy and say it was from grandma. Next tab, catering. Cost, $2,250. Paid, yes. Status, let her think it's her idea. I sat there in silence. That was the exact moment something inside me shifted. Because it wasn't just them using me. It was them planning for it. Counting on it. Betting on the fact I wouldn't say no. Again. So I backed up the folder. Saved it to a flash drive. 3 actually. I was ready. That's why I didn't flinch when she said I wasn't even a real aunt. That's why I didn't scream when Dad laughed like I was the punchline to a family joke. Because I knew what came next. But first I needed one more thing. Proof. So I dug deeper. I knew Emma had lied before about money, jobs, relationships. But I never had evidence. This time I did. In the cloud storage I found audio recordings. Labeled. Dated. And one titled Proof for CPS only if needed. She was saving it. To use against someone else. I clicked play. Emma's voice. I told them I'd make up some story if they tried to make me work again. Just cry a little, say something about postpartum, they'll back off. Background noise, laughter. Dad's voice, that's my girl. That was it. That was the whole pattern in 12 seconds. Manipulate. Play the victim. Get rewarded. I copied that file. Then I went for the final punch. Remember that video she asked me to record? The one where I was supposed to walk around the banquet hall before guests arrived and get some good footage? I did it. Like always. Because I wanted to help. What she didn't realize was that I forgot to stop recording. The camera kept rolling when she walked past the desserts with her friend and whispered, she better cry when she sees all this. Otherwise, I'm posting that voicemail from Miami. Her friend, you still have that? Emma, of course. She doesn't know how much I have on her. I don't cry easily. But in that moment I realized it was never love. It was leverage. They weren't family. They operated like a syndicate. I was the one they used. They pushed me too far. They thought silence meant surrender. But I wasn't quiet, I was calculating. The morning after the baby shower, I sent out exactly 5 packages. Each one had a USB drive, a printed transcript, and a simple note. For context. In case you forgot what you laughed at. Addresses? Emma's workplace. My father's golf club. My mother's church group. 2 gossip-prone aunts. And the family group chat. That last one? That was the match on gasoline. See, they forgot I was the one who taught half the family how to use tech. They left me admin privileges in the family Google Drive, the old shared folder we use for planning reunions. Photos, recipes, contacts. I privately shared the footage with select family members who had mocked me, not out of revenge, but to remind them what they had laughed at. They watched it. Oh, they watched it. How do I know? Because my phone started buzzing at 6:12 a.m., Aunt Linda first. Then Uncle Pete. Then Emma. Then Mom. Then Dad. I didn't answer. The video opened with that baby shower clip. Emma's voice, crystal clear, you're not even a real aunt. Then a smash cut to her whispering over the dessert table, she better cry. Otherwise, I'm posting that voicemail from Miami. Then I added the spreadsheet. The catering plan. The manipulation checklist. Someone in the family chat had reposted an old message thread, one many had forgotten, and suddenly, everything became clear. Then the audio of Dad, that's my girl. It ran 12 minutes. Just 12. But it changed everything. The comments in the family group chat turned fast. My cousin Mandy, who hadn't said a word in 2 years, posted, "What is this? This is who we celebrated." And then, silence. Until Emma posted one word. Fake. That's when I posted a screenshot of the original cloud file timestamps. Then, a screen recording showing her name as the original uploader. Then, a selfie of me holding the original backup drive. And finally, a message. If it's fake, Emma, play the video. The original one. We all know you have it. Play it then. She didn't. Not online. Not in private. But her job? They did their own digging. Apparently, her workplace started asking questions. I wasn't involved, I only heard later that things got complicated. They smell blood before you even realize you're bleeding. My dad? He texted. What did you do? What have you done? I replied, you raised me. What did you expect? He didn't answer after that. But Mom did. She left a voicemail. Breathless. Broken. You went too far. It was just family business. It didn't need to be public. You've humiliated us. That was the point. They built a house of mirrors. I just broke the glass. But I wasn't done. I filed a small legal claim. Not for the money, for ownership of the video content. I was the one who filmed it, edited it, and stored it. They used it without permission, sent it around, mocked me. I filed under unauthorized distribution and defamation. Petty? Maybe, but it sent a message. I own my narrative now. And just when they thought it couldn't get worse, I sent the final file to the pastor of my mother's church. It was a voice memo. Emma again. I don't care what Mom says, I'm not naming her in the baptism. She's a joke. Just a source of money to her. That one broke Mom. She called me sobbing. Then wailing. Then begging. Not to stop, she knew it was too late, but to spare her reputation. Don't send it to the women's circle. Please. They'll never forgive me. I didn't reply. But I never had to send anything. Word spread on its own, and by the time the next prayer meeting came, everyone already knew. It was never about revenge. It was about ending the performance. Once and for all. I didn't say a word for a week. Didn't answer calls. Didn't open messages. I went to work, brewed coffee, cleaned the apartment, watched old TV shows with the volume off. The world was loud, but I was quiet. Calm. Because I knew what was coming. On the 8th day, I sent a letter. A physical one. In a sealed envelope. Sent via certified mail. With a letterhead from a law office where the son of my old boss now works, the same guy I once helped rewrite his resume. The title. Statement of Financial Separation and Personal Clarification concerning the last name, family trust and all associated arrangements. I mailed it to the finance office at the school where my mother works, the veterans club where my father volunteers, the leasing office of Emma's apartment building, and every mailbox of the relatives who watched in silence for years. Inside everything. But no drama. No whining. Just facts. My signature. Documentation. Verified accounts. I stated that I was no longer the financial guarantor for any member of my family. That I was removing myself from all shared accounts, joint credit histories, and family authorizations. That starting June 1st I would no longer cover any expenses. And that I had saved records proving manipulation, fraud, and emotional abuse to be used if anyone tried to retaliate. The last paragraph hit the hardest. This letter is not revenge. It's release. You cannot demand loyalty while offering only leverage. You cannot demand silence after public humiliation. You cannot claim family and behave like debt collectors. This is not a lawsuit. It's a severance. It wasn't internet theatrics. It was documentation of freedom. And it hit them like a falling brick. Mom reacted first. She called my work. No answer. Then called my coworker. No luck. 3 hours later, she emailed my company's finance department with a bizarre request to consider family context before making any assumptions about official statements. My manager forwarded me the email with a single line. You were right to set a boundary. Let me know if you want us to block her. Next came Dad. Predictable as ever. He stormed into the Veterans Club with a hard folder in his hand, convinced the letter was fake. That I was bluffing. That I would never actually go through with it. One of the older vets, a friend of mine, sent me a photo. Dad standing in the lobby, red-faced, flustered, trying to explain why. None of it is real. But the envelope had my signature. A notarized affidavit. Legal language. Real. And when he couldn't talk his way out of it there, he did something worse. He went to my mom's church office and begged the treasurer to clear up any rumors. She, a soft-spoken woman in her 60s, looked him dead in the eyes and said, I read the letter. I know what I've seen. And I want no part of it anymore. He didn't respond. He left in silence. But Emma? Emma took the real hit. Because the same day the letter reached her building, a social services representative called, not because I reported anything, but because someone on that mailing list did. Someone read the part about how I had been paying for baby formula, daycare, even health insurance, while Emma had listed herself as the sole provider on her housing application. That triggered a follow-up. 2 people from her job were called in for a clarification conversation. A former friend sent me a screenshot. Is it true she never had custody? That her sister did everything? That's what a certified letter can do. It delivers truth. With tracking, the family detonated like a boiler. More threats. New fake accounts. Anonymous emails to my HR. Even a printed invitation for reconciliation. Handwritten. Wrapped in guilt. I didn't go. Instead, I did something better. I ordered a custom nameplate for my new apartment. A small plaque, just inside the door. It read, no deliveries for the last name family. Return to sender. 2 days later, someone tried to tear it off. I had installed a camera. And I caught my father with keys in hand trying to unlock my door. Like nothing had happened. I called the police. He fled before they arrived. But that was the final attempt. A week later, I received one last letter. From Emma. Tear-stained. Handwritten. Crooked lines. But real. If you're done with us, please burn this after reading. For the first time, she wasn't demanding. She was asking. I read it. She didn't burn. I did. There were no excuses. No manipulation. Just one sentence that stayed. You were the aunt I never deserved. And the sister I should have protected. I didn't reply. But I kept the letter. No promises. No reconciliation. Because forgiveness is not required. Only distances. I didn't hear from any of them for 6 weeks. Not a call. Not a knock. Not a whisper from a cousin pretending not to pick sides. Just a heavy humming silence. The kind that usually comes before a storm. But this time I was the storm. I knew they were regrouping. That's how families like mine work. They don't apologize. They strategize. Wait for emotions to cool just enough so they can re-enter the picture like nothing happened. So I stayed one step ahead. I changed my phone number. New SIM. No forwarding. I left the group chats, then filed an official report with my provider to mark them as spam. Yes, my own family. I even updated my will. Left specific instructions that if any of their names appear on any legal request after my death, it triggers an automatic audit and rejection clause. Then I sent the final letter. Not to them. To the people who mattered. To the leasing office that Emma still owed. To the school district HR where my mom worked. To the financial institution where Dad still pretended to be relevant in retirement investment circles. Each letter was short. Sharp. Clean. This is to confirm that I am not financially, emotionally, or legally associated with full names of addresses. Any attempt to associate me with them, solicit support on their behalf, or use my name and documentation will be met with immediate legal response. Certified. Tracked. Documented. By the time the last envelope landed, my phone started buzzing again, this time from strangers. Emma's old coworker. A woman from Dad's golf club. One of Mom's ex-colleagues who always liked to stay out of it. The message was always the same. I had no idea. I'm sorry. If I had known, I would have said something. Too late. But the silence finally broke one morning. I was on my balcony, new place, top floor, skyline view, drinking black coffee in peace when a package arrived. No sender. Just a handwritten name on the return label. Emma. Inside, a photo album. It was one of those cheap full leather books you can buy at a gas station. Inside were pictures from our childhood. Me holding her hand on Halloween. Me lifting her onto a swing. Me pushing her bike. Me standing alone at my college graduation, the one no one came to. On the last page, she had written, "You did raise me. I just never gave you the credit." There was a key taped to the back. And a sticky note. "The storage unit at 9th and Grant. It's all yours. I don't want to hold any of it anymore." I never went. I threw the key away. Because what she didn't understand was this. I'm not her storage unit anymore. As for my mother, I found out from a friend that she quietly retired. Early. Claimed it was due to stress. But I knew the real reason. The school had pulled her aside after receiving my letter. Asked questions. About documentation. About conflict of interest. They didn't fire her. But they made her uncomfortable enough to leave herself. Last I heard, she volunteers at a charity thrift shop. I wish I could say I hoped she finds peace. But I don't. She had decades to speak up. And every time she stayed quiet, she tightened the noose around me a little more. And my father? He finally did something I didn't expect. He sent me a postcard. Not a letter. Not a voicemail. A postcard. Like a tourist. It had a picture of a mountain on the front, like he was trying to imply some sort of wisdom. All it said was, "You win. Enjoy it while it lasts." No apology. No acceptance. Just bitterness printed in courier font. I laughed out loud when I read it. Not because it was funny, but because he still believed this was a game. He still didn't get it. This wasn't about winning. It was about leaving the arena entirely. 3 days ago, I received an email from someone named Madison, Emma's old college roommate. She wrote, "I found a box of stuff Emma left at my place years ago. Journals. Notes. Letters about you. They're a lot. I just thought you should know. She's been carrying the guilt longer than you think. Doesn't change anything, but yeah. That's all." I didn't reply. Because it really doesn't change anything. Last night, I did something small. Something final. I printed a label. Just one. Stuck it to my new mailbox. White background. Black letters. Nothing fancy. It reads, "Return to sender, no such family exists here." Then I shut the lid. And for the first time in years, I didn't feel watched. Didn't feel owed. Didn't feel like I had to explain who I was or prove what I'd given. Because now, finally, I had taken it all back. And they can't cancel what they never built. Not this peace. Not this silence. Not this version of me. Not anymore.